Yes, nice and decent people. Today I just want to talk to you about a wonderful St. Lucian, marvelous guy named Calixte George. Calixte George was always somebody I really wanted to meet, and it so happened that a relative of mine was overseas for a while, and he knows Calixte George very well. He wanted to go and see Calixte George, and I happened to be his driver. And it was a very productive session. I probably spent a few hours there, but within that time, it was just information. I was just listening to a great man speak. And it is always a marvelous thing when you can be in the presence of greatness to hear somebody talk to you for hours, things that you do not know. Because I read about Calixte, I read about his achievement, and the things that he had achieved in St. Lucia and overseas. The research station that we have at Union, the Agricultural Research Station, much of the work there was done by him, and he was actually the main person responsible for teaching people in that place. He also worked with Cadi for a long period of time. He worked both in St. Lucia and overseas. But this guy is knowledgeable and his mind is very sharp. He spoke about a lot of great St. Lucians. Dr. Paris is a St. Lucian anesthesiologist who did a lot of work in pain, and I think his name was recommended or suggested for a Nobel Prize in medicine. He was just one of the persons that he mentioned, but he spoke about a lot of great St. Lucians and their achievement. He opened our eyes to a lot of things that happened. The evolution and the development of agriculture in St. Lucia over the years from the start. He spoke about how certain people from Jamaica were brought to St. Lucia to help in the agriculture sector. I think there was a man named Atkinson. You know that fish, there's a fish called Atkinson, and they attributed it to him. There's that thing going on, but nonetheless, man, I'm telling you, the wealth of knowledge that this man spits out in a short space of time, it was just amazing. And I learned a lot. I enjoy being in an environment where I can just learn a lot. And just for all this time, I was just there listening to Calixte George, and it was just a marvelous time. So Calixte George found out that I am also a soil scientist, and he was talking about the classification of the soil in St. Lucia. So he asked me if I know about that, if I have the map. I told him no. He told me you can't be a soil scientist and not have the map, the soils map of St. Lucia. And he gave me one, and actually made a photocopy. This is the soil classification map of St. Lucia. Okay, that's the soils map of St. Lucia. It was given to me by Calixte George, and he also gave me, I have the book that goes along with it. So it was just an amazing time that I spent with Calixte George, and it just shows you, one of the things that I have noticed in this country is that when people retire, a lot of times, sometimes you do not see them again, or you do not hear about them again. And it is very wise to tap in to the information and the knowledge that these people carry. You understand? You're going to miss a lot. You are going to miss a lot if you do not find yourself at the foot of these people. I was in the presence of Calixte George for all this time, and I didn't talk too much. I just asked questions, and I just wanted him to speak, because there is so much information and knowledge, and the guy is sharp. The guy is sharp. And the way I look at it, any person, anybody who's a minister of agriculture in this country, or who's aspiring to be a minister of agriculture in this country, you need to talk to Mr. Calixte George. You must talk to Calixte George if you are a minister of agriculture or you plan to be one. Another person who has, if you want to get knowledge about agriculture in St. Lucia, is Mr. Hilary Lafosse. This guy knows a lot about agriculture also. But it was just amazing. It was just amazing. The information, the length and the breadth of information that is in Calixte George's head. And the man is well-rounded. The man can talk to you about any topic, anything. You will ask this man. And it's almost like he's just a walking library of the major events that happen in this country. If you want to know about the banana industry, the history of the banana industry, the history of all of those things, he will ask you. He'll be able to give to tell you. And I told him that I read somewhere that the premier or the number one banana research facility in the world at a certain time was the lab at Winban. I said that, and Calixte George just started giving me information, giving me knowledge, giving me information. Listen to me, it is just amazing. It is amazing. A lot of times, sometimes when you walk around in the place, some of the things that you hear is like you don't want to hear them. The information, a lot of times, the things that you hear, they're not motivating, they're not encouraging, but it is just a breath of fresh air to find yourself in the presence of that man, that icon, that genius, Calixte George. And I want the opportunity to make a documentary on the great Calixte George. I want that chance, that opportunity. And these are the kind of people that we need to just sit down at their feet and listen to knowledge, listen to wisdom. We need to have books written about these guys. Calixte George. You need to have people in this country just writing books on people like Calixte George. Keep the fire burning. That's a real icon. This man, Calixte George, is a man that if you're a person who wants wisdom, if you want knowledge, if you want to get an idea as to what was and what is to come in this place, if you want to have an idea as to how to navigate what really happened, what is going on, just talk to Calixte George, a very knowledgeable guy. Keep the fire burning.